Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. We talk outdoors every Saturday morning as we roll into our 23rd year on the air, and really happy to put this show together, particularly these back-to-back champions. And it's not like a dueling championship here, but to have two guys that are at the top of their field on the same radio show. And we've had this gentleman on with us before on Outdoors with Larry Ray, most probably thankfully to, Joel Poggert or Charity or somebody, but more likely Ron Wong has helped us get Bryan Thrift on with us this morning and talking about the 2023 Red Crest Championship. Good morning, Bryan.
Good morning. How are y'all?
All right. You've had a little time to settle down, Bryan. Does it still feel good?
Oh, it sure does. It feels real good.
Which feels better, holding up that trophy or getting that check?
I don't know if I could put an emphasis on one or the other.
That's right.
really, really good.
they're really important, and I know Ron has talked to you, and I've talked to you about this, and being on your home area right there, and talk about what it's meant for you to win the championship.
Oh, I mean, just to win a championship anyway, even though if it's not on your home lake, is a very special thing. But
yes,
to have it on a lake you grew up fishing, that like the back of your hand, that's a whole different aspect of it, because you're going out there with a target on your back already.
You are, yes, yeah.
A lot of added pressure on yourself.
Yeah. And, Bryan, talking about your home lake, this actually paid dividends for you, knowing what those fish were going to do, because with the weather changes that they had during the tournament and everything,
yeah,
it changed those fish and the way they were biting. A lot of people were trying to do chasing shallow fish with in a shad spawn and everything else. But on that last day, you had to do something a little bit different. You went back to one of the places that you knew you could catch some small fish, but if it wasn't for the knowledge, that would have never happened. So tell our listeners what you did on that last day that was different than what you did the previous days on the tournament.
So actually it was the last 2 days.
Yeah.
I ended up, I found a spot up the river that was holding some fish, and it was mostly small fish. That's what I thought in practice. I'd caught several, just 2-pounders. Like I was thinking, if all else fails, I can come up here and, at least get a limit, and then I can go back to the lake and start those kicker fish. And it ended up, there were some good fish up there, fish I didn't expect to be up there. I ended up catching quite a few 3-pounders and heavy 2s up there. The last 2 days, I mean, that one area gave me 2 13-pound limits.
Wow. and ended up with 46 pounds and 12 ounces. And I know it had to be emotional for you. I've watched the video of it, of Bryan up on the stage and everything. This had to be a real emotional event, because I thought I saw some tears up there. I mean,
oh, that was definitely a tear or two shed.
was that
tears of joy?
Yeah, tears of joy. I know for you, but this is something you've worked for, though, man. I mean, this is not something overnight that you've had to do. So talk about what it's meant for you. At the same time, what does this mean for you for your career?
I mean, for my career, there's very few people in the industry that can say they have their name on 2 championship titles.
That's what I want. Yes,
that's right.
Yeah,
very fortunate to be one in that select class of guys that have accomplished that.
Yeah, yeah, and the competition gets tougher every year, and when you
it really does. I mean, you can't stress that enough. Every year, it seems like the anglers get smarter, they get more efficient, they get just more knowledgeable on bodies of water. And not only the anglers, but the fish. The fish change every year.
Yeah.
I think the fish get smarter than the anglers half the time.
I think you're right about that. And, by the way, folks, if you want to follow Bryan,
yeah.
I think it's Tuesday night. Correct me if I'm wrong, Bryan. You're on a podcast, which is live on Facebook with Matt Airy. Is that right?
Yes. Well, we're actually live on our YouTube channel now. Let's Talk Fish. We switched it over, but we try to do every Tuesday we're in town. We do a live show at 7 Central Time,
That's
7
right.
p.m.
Yeah.
7 p.m. Eastern. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Should be 6 Central.
Yeah.
But and then after the show's over, we always upload it to the podcast, and also fans can go back and listen and watch after we completed the live show. But it is a fun show. We have a lot of interesting topics, and sometimes we just fly off the cuff with it, but we have fun with it.
And you guys talk with a lot of champions, people that won tournaments and everything else. And great information that you guys got. You guys give a lot of tips on it. And tell our listeners, Bryan, how what techniques were the best for you?
That's right.
In catching those fish at the Red Crest Cub.
So there were 4 main baits I was catching fish on. I was using a 1/4 ounce Demiki underspin with a 3-inch Demiki armor shad on it, and I was catching a lot of deep fish on that. And on my signature series football jig from Fitzgerald Fishing, it's a finesse micro football jig built finesse for skirt material, all tungsten head, just to give you a nice little bite-sized package. And deep water spots and smallmouth absolutely love it. It's just a easy meal they can't pass up. So that was my main 2 techniques for fishing deeper, 20 to 30 feet. And then I had a swim bait pattern going shallower, fishing a swim bait, a 5-inch swim bait on docks that I caught a few key kickers a couple of the days. And then the last 2 days, that old trusty 1/2 ounce Z-Man jackhammer bailed me out.
The jackhammer. That's what I was waiting him. That's one of my favorite names, Ron.
Yeah.
I like
and you're using Fitzgerald rods. Of course, you have your signature series there. A little bit about the Fitzgerald rods.
So we partnered up probably about 7 or 8 years ago now. We introduced the Bryan Thrift Signature Series line of rods through Fitzgerald Fishing, and we've currently got, I believe, 11 different models, ranging from a 6.3 finesse topwater rod all the way up to a 7.4 heavy action cranking rod. But we've got something in there for every technique out there. And that's something that I take pride in, because I have certain rods with certain actions that I like on different techniques, different presentations. And, I don't want to throw my jerk bait on the same rod that I throw a chatterbait on, or throw my crankbait on the same rod that I throw a frog on, or something like that. And a lot of anglers will agree that's, you've got to have the right tool for the job. And that's something we've done with my signature series line of rods. We've built these rods based on specific techniques where they excel and outperform anything else on the market.
You got all 11 of them on the boat with you? I mean, I just wonder how you pick them out here.
At most times.
And by the way, Larry, he has the neatest front deck, and all those rods are placed just.
I saw that's why I'm asking him.
I tell you something.
I mean, it's
the way he does that. It's amazing. Is that habit, Bryan, or?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see any other anglers that has such a neat front deck.
Well, it's kind of habit, and it's kind of out of necessity, because I tend to have more rods on the deck than most guys. And
there you go. That's Ron. He's got more in his kitchen table than anybody else I know. Ron Wong does there. But again, we're talking to Bryan Thrift, 2023 Red Crest champion on Lake Norman. And I know, Bryan, you've been a great ambassador for the sport, and you just went over a lot of different things there. Your start and where you are right now, it's changed in the way competitors are, but I think that today's competitor like you need to be accessible, folks, and I just want y'all to know out there that Bryan has always been accessible when we want to try to get him on the show or whatever it might be, because I look at you as a people person. Am I right or am I wrong?
No, you're exactly right. I mean, that's the whole thing about this sport. I mean, you have to be a people person.
Yes.
I've made a lot of great lifelong friends since I got in the industry back in 2007. And, it's something I love and something I'm passionate about. And it's easy to be a people person when you're talking about something you love.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That podcast, and I've seen the podcast. Now I have to see the YouTube live with you two guys together, so I can imagine what you might come up with. So what's ahead for you? What's next?
I guess next we got the rest of the BPT season. I think we have 4 events left.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to getting those rolling. But, it's been a great year. I'm just having fun. We kind of made the year with that Red Crest win. So
that does.
Right.
That
Bryan,
does.
Yeah. You can't do this by yourself. You have a wonderful wife, Allison, that supports you. A little bit about that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you've definitely got to have that support in this line of work. I mean, when you're gone from home so much, you got to know everything's going to be okay on the home front.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that's been great. She's always there to get my head put back on straight when I have a bad event, and I tell her I'm ready to quit.
That's a great.
She brings me back down to earth.
Well,
because, as a competitor, we want to win every event, and you get frustrated when you have a bad event.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
That works on you.
Yeah, that works when you're turkey hunting too. I can tell you that for a fact.
Yeah,
but,
like in your life.
Yeah. Well, Bryan, we appreciate you, man, taking time on this Saturday morning to be with us, and y'all follow him, Bryan Thrift, Thrift, out of Shelby, North Carolina. A lot of fun, a lot of information to keep up with, Bryan. And I know you're 300,000 ahead of me right now, so I'm working on this, okay? All right, buddy. We appreciate you being with us. Have a great weekend, okay?
We'll see you down the road.
All right. Thank you, Bryan. All right. Let's take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray and turn this baby over to Ron and Bill, and they can talk about a place that I dream about a lot. I don't know if I ever get there.
Yes, sir.
We'll be right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray.